Good morning. Well, this stuff has been cooking down all night, my tomatoes, and we're making, of course, tomato sauce. I've already checked it, started around, did a few more things this morning, and we're going to take a look at it now and see how it's looking. So let me adjust the camera, and we will get you going. There's not a whole lot of liquid left in this. It's good and bubbly. Everything's pretty soft. I'm going to let this go for a little bit longer. And then I'm going to take an immersion blender and put in here and blend it all up. And we're going to try this method instead of me doing it the way I used to do it. I'm going to try to incorporate the seeds and the pills to make this even more nutritious than it will be already. Do you realize that tomatoes actually have more nutrition once you cook them down than eating them raw? I don't know why, but that's what the studies say and show. We'll be back in a little bit. Well, we're back. I'm going to show you the tool I used to use that I might actually end up having to use. So hang on one second. Be right back. Okay, here it is. This is a tomato mill. What I would do is I would literally drop cups of the tomato sauce in the making in here, and I would grind them down like this, and stuff would come out, and then I'd be left with a bunch of rinds. I'd usually just throw them out for the mulch. Sometimes I'd dry them and use them as like a little bit of a tomato seasoning. This year I am going to try the puree with my immersion blender. It's a KitchenAid, and it's actually pretty nice. I turned down the heat in this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start this off on a slow speed, and I'm literally just sinking it in. If you're looking at this, you can see there's not a whole lot of liquid still floating on top. So I'm going to give it a stir to mix it all in. And then I'm going to hopefully blend this. I'm going to start it out, like I said, on a low speed, and we'll go from there. My purple shirt might turn red. Now this works great when I'm doing applesauce or pear butter. It just totally blends it into a nice smooth consistency. Let's go with a medium speed. So the loud noise that sounds like it's burbling is when I'm pulling it up out of the sauce. This is very hot, so I'm trying not to do it too much, but it is starting to cut everything up and it's looking better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this up to a higher speed. Let's get it going. This could take a little while, so I'll bring you back when we're done. Well, the immersion blender worked amazing. It's very, very thick sauce. I'm going to bring you in a little closer. I didn't even get too much of it on my shirt. And this is how I like my sauce. This way, if I need to freeze dry it or I need to make tomato paste out of it or ketchup, it's already got a good start to going down. If I need it thinned out, I just add a little bit of water. Plus, with this being thicker, I use less jars. So I'm probably going to let this cook for a little bit while I am washing up the jars. And this really saved me probably 3 to 4 hours worth of time. I'll take it. Every hour saved is another hour I can work on something else. We'll be back shortly when we start to jar this. It's a beautiful, beautiful red color. Well, we are back, and everything is pretty much cooked down to the thickness I want it to be for my tomato sauce. It's pretty thick, as you can see. I already got my handy dandy measuring scoop in here. Makes it easier for me to dip out anything out of these pots. So what I'm doing is trying not to get burnt, for one reason. The other thing is the jars, and I'm sure I'm going to get flack from somebody if they see this. I have these Atlas Mason jars. These were technically came with spaghetti sauce in them. They were given to me back in 2018. I started using them to make spaghetti sauce and tomato sauce and anything else that I make. Tomato related usually. I don't know why I just use them for tomatoes, but I could use them for other things. But I've been using them since 2019. They've always sealed. I've had none crack, and I've used them in the pressure canner and in the water bath canner. So if somebody wants to give me flack, that's fine, but I'm just giving you my results. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you what I am doing. Now, I don't always subscribe to FDA rules. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these jars up. They are 24-ounce jars up to about right here. And I'm going to just start filling them. This liquid is still set. The pot here is still set at 300 degrees. That one might be a little full. I'll have to spoon some of it out in a minute. See, this way you get to make mistakes with me. I'm not alone, and you're not alone. So when you make a mistake, you don't have to say, oh, I'm so stupid. How did I do that? Why did I do that? You can just say, well, everybody makes them. Anybody that cans is going to end up making it. So when I make my spaghetti sauce, and that's when I use all my peppers and onions and mushrooms and carrots and some other stuff that I put in there, I will take a jar of that because it's usually really thick, full of lots of yummies veggie bowls. I guess I overstuff the vegetables in it. And then I'll use one of these jars also. So I end up with about 48 ounces when I start making my spaghetti sauce to put with my ground beef and over my noodles. I'm also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of, I use Himalayan salt. I'm going to make sure this is a little bit more even here. Give it a little shake to make sure it's even up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect in this world, at least not in my opinion. So I've got 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to clean these jars up. I've got a lot more than just these 2 jars, but I'm going to go ahead and do this so you know what I'm doing. And if you are making tomato sauce while you're watching this video, then you'll know to just stop it and go off on your own, or you can rewatch it and know exactly what to do in advance. Make sure those are good and clean. I had some vinegar on my paper towel. I am using my Tatler lids. and also my regular ball. Remember, Tattlers, you just put it so it will just spin. You do not finger tight it. There we go. You can see it spin better. Now my ball lid, I want to make it finger tight. Those two are completely done. I'm going to set them aside, and I am going to start and finish up the rest of the jars and get them in to the pressure canner. Because yes, I am actually going to pressure can tomato sauce. I prefer to pressure can. It's usually less time, and I just prefer it. Also less water. And I know that they are sealed. The temperature has been brought up higher, and we're off. And I will see you soon as we get everything filled up and I get them in the pressure canner. Stay with me. Well, I have all the jars filled, and I ended up with 8 in the bottom. And remember, these are 24-ounce jars, and I ended up with 5 and a half jars up here in the top that are filled. Now this is a little bit more than a half, but what I'm going to do is I am going to pressure can it. I also put in 2 jars of water so they do not move. And when I get the half jar out, after it cools, and I will go ahead and put that in the fridge, even if it seals, just to be on the safe side, and I will use that first. I'll be pressure canning these for 15 minutes. This method will save me a lot of time, a lot of water, and a lot of energy. We'll be back when they are complete. Well, we're back. Our tomato sauce is all done. Everything's sealed. Well, everything except for the half jar that I didn't think would seal. It did not seal. Figured it out within a couple hours, and I stuck it in the fridge. And it will be used the next time we need tomato sauce, or I will end up putting it in the freeze dryer or the freezer. So remember how I do my tomato sauce. It's very, very thick. Plus, remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you like my content and you think somebody can learn from me, please share it with somebody. You could be saving somebody's life, or at least from boredom. So like, share, and subscribe. Charlie B signing out.